Hey there YouTube, welcome to Big Mike Beard Wisdom. So today we're going to revisit the headlight kits that we did. And when we did the headlight repairs, I did one on one side, one on the other of different brands. And I also messed around with the truck a little bit with some WD-40. So you can see here, the 3M one still looks pretty good. Unfortunately, the Sylvania one has all but come off. So this one had an issue where at first when I went to plastic dip the hood, I put a little bit of tape on here, and as soon as I peeled the tape off came a section of the coating, which is kind of disappointing. And then when I went to the car wash, a whole bunch more came off. So you can see right now there's very little left on it. There's some up here in the corner, some here in the face, and some right here in this edge. And even this stuff here, you can kind of see that it's got a little bit of a lip there. So I could probably peel some more of this off. And in reading some of the reviews, they said that this coating would only last, maybe about 3 months, which is about as long as this lasted, maybe. So, little disappointed in it, but you can still see that all the hard work you put into it, so all the sanding, all the buffing and stuff like that, still looks better than it did originally. It just doesn't look quite as crystal clear anymore. Like it did before. And then with the truck, we put a little bit of WD-40 on both front marker lenses, so this lower lens here and this lower lens, and those are pretty much returned back to their previous state, where it's still a little foggy, a little cloudy. And the same thing with the taillights. So this is kind of a bad spot to be looking at it, just because one's in the sunlight and one's not. But in the course of what we're going to do to the headlight on the Astra, we're going to improve these taillights as well. The plan to fix this is essentially to go with 3M on both sides. So this kit here comes with that quick headlight clear coat that we put on this side. So I should be able to recoat this one and probably hit those taillights as well. That way they both have like an improved look to them. Now, I could go ahead and maybe use the little bit of the UV block clear coat that I've left over from the original kit, but after seeing how this came off, I really don't want to. And more importantly, what I need to do is I need to make sure I can get the rest of this stuff off, because having the old clear coat stuff on there can lead to a failure of the other stuff if the old stuff continues to peel off. We'll start with a P3000 sandpaper. Go over the light real quick, and it's just wet sanding again, so hopefully I can get rid of some of this that's hanging out, and it'll be nice and easy. Then I've got just a little bit of the rubbing compound left over, so we'll try putting that on as long as we have a little bit of that left, and we'll see where we land. And depending on how far we can get with the light, it'll depend on what we want to do to the taillights. If you guys remember the first videos when I was doing these headlights, it was a lot of work to try and work through the old clear coat and all the oxidation and stuff like that. This, after already being done once, was very quick to go through. It took just a little bit of that sanding to take off any of the remaining Sylvania coating. It went off very quick, very simple. So you can see headlights still much better than it was before, when it was originally. So a little bit more aggressive in like the swirls, as you can see here, with like the light from the camera, as opposed to up here where I didn't hit it. So next what I'll do is I'll hit with it with just a touch of that polish, with some of the polish that I've left over, just to give it a nice finished coating. And similar to that one, so in appearance wise it should be pretty similar, because that one got the sanding plus the polish, and then it got the coating, whereas in this particular kit it doesn't supply the polish. All right, so use the last little bit of the polish. So in that packet there was just a little bit left, and you can see this looks awesome. Everything's super smooth. You barely see any kind of like scratches. And then this is just about ready to put the coating on. Real quick, we just need to rinse it off real good with water and then let it dry all the way. The reason why I'm doing the taillights is because essentially when I go to do the headlight, I wipe the headlight down with one coat, and then I've got the rag left over that I can probably do more stuff with. So that's what I want to try and see if I can do that with this. So real fast, we'll hit this with some sandpaper. So just that 3000 grit. And it's not too bad. It's just that it's got a fair amount of oxidation. So it'll be interesting to see what this looks like after that. Then I'll try and using the polish on probably one tail light, and I won't use the polish on the other one because there's really no polish left. It'll just be whatever's left on the pad. But it'll be interesting to see the difference in how they look. This side's been quickly wet sanded down. You can still kind of see the sand scratches, so it looks a little bit hazy. That's just where it's still just a little bit damp. I think I've got a pretty good little like crack or scratch going around right there. That's definitely a crack. So just a little bit hazier than it looked like before. But probably smoother in total. And then this is still the original buffing pad from the original 3M kit that we used. It had the last little bit of buffing compound that was actually still in like a liquid format. Was used on the headlight. So essentially doing this taillight was buffed more or less dry. And honestly, it still came out kind of amazing. So super smooth, very shiny, very clear. Looks pretty good. Now, I'm not going to do that on this one. This one's going to get the sandpaper and that's it. Just so I can see the difference in the coatings. But if you wind up having a little bit of leftover stuff from the first 3M kit, it's still very much usable and very handy to have around. Like I would put that as almost as shiny as like the factory Cadillac lights, which are still in really good shape. This light's sanded and polished, super shiny and clean. This one, just sanded, a little bit duller, very clean. And then this one's sanded and polished and very clean and dry. So now it's time to tackle the clear coat. And we're using the same clear coat we used on the other side, so this quick headlight clear coat. And the cool thing about this is that you just open this up and wipe it on. And then you have to let it dry for about 5 to 15 minutes. And then you open the second one and put the second coat on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe this headlight down and then quick dash over and try and do as much of those taillights as I can. And hopefully when I do this one, I won't make the mistake that I did on any of the other headlights that I did. Where essentially I almost double coated in some places and kind of messed some stuff up. So there's a little bit of a second shot, and it's a little bit of a chance to, you know, try and do a little bit better job. So what I think I'll try and do is try and figure out how I'm going to wipe it down first and then move on. The big thing is going to be trying not to let a drip form and then wipe across that drip, which is what kind of got me last time. Or missing a spot. First coat's down. This went fairly easy. Everything looks pretty good right now. Little bit of a run up here, but I think I got the headlight coated pretty good. Then I zipped over here, started to touch up this one. So this one's all coated. Really hoping that little like ladybug doesn't jump in there. Screw up the plans. This one was the last one, and this one I could kind of tell it was starting to like really get not dry, but starting to run a little low on stuff. So I'll probably hit this one after the headlight. This one will get hit on the next one. That way this one gets a semi heavier coating and then this one will have the lighter coating to end with. So theoretically, the taillights will have the same thickness. It may be one of those things where they may not have the same visual like clarity, depending on how it lays out. But you can definitely do a fair amount with just that wipe. And I'd be curious just how far you could go with it. Hey, stay away. Don't get in my taillight. Oh, you better run. Uh-oh. Did you just turn around? Whoop, you did. Alright, so second coat's down and on. So this came out pretty good. I'm noticing just a couple little wipe marks that I had, but otherwise it looks pretty good. I don't know if the first one that I did had the same kind of wipe marks. So you can kind of see as the light passes. So there's a little bit of a wipe mark. But all in all, looks pretty good. Hopefully it'll last a while. At least longer than Sylvania's. Taillights look pretty good too. Really shiny, nice and clear. Taillights look pretty good. Super bright and shiny, like a brand new set of taillights. Just with a cleaned up taillight mess. But they look pretty good. Very glossy, very shiny. I wouldn't be surprised if these are original taillights because these are pretty old. But way better than WD-40. And considering they used to look pretty flat and dull, like that one up there. And this taillight here, so this headlight's all good to go now. So it's all nice and dry. I'm just gonna put it in the garage because that's what I did with the last ones. Let them chill out in the garage where they're nice and safe overnight. Hopefully keep things away from them, like little annoying bugs. Little bit of spittle. Alright, but like with the Sylvania kit, it felt like the Sylvania kit went on a little bit thicker, and it just seemed a little bit like deeper to me, I suppose, as you're putting it on. This seems just a little bit thinner, but it's obviously much tougher. And I don't know if it's because you put on 2 coats versus just 1 coat, or if it's how you put it on, or the composition of the clear coat itself. But pretty happy with the results. Now, I'm not knocking Sylvania's kit as far as getting the headlight done, cleaning it, removing all the old oxidation and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where that last little bit, that little bit of clear coat is what's being judged here. And unfortunately, that last little bit of clear coat, not so great. So, at least with this one, now it's got 3M on both sides. So theoretically, whenever that one starts to go, about 3 months later, this one will start to go. But they should have the same kind of appearance. And I do kind of blame Sylvania for making me have to get the 3M kit out and make another big giant mess. But it was pretty cool to use the 3M kit to see how far it would go. And the fact I'm able to do both a headlight and a set of taillights and get them looking pretty good is pretty impressive. So if you're looking at buying a kit and you've got a little bit more than just one vehicle due, you can definitely buy the 3M kit and stretch your dollar a little bit. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're curious about the other ones, you can look them up. I go pretty far in depth in how to do these. And honestly, it's cleaning them up from how they were originally, removing the original clear coat and doing like the wet sanding in order to get the oxidation off. That really is the bulk of the work. Should you have to do a quick touch-up like this, it seems like as long as you catch it quick that you had a failure in it before it has time to like start to oxidize and really kind of cause issues, you can do this in about 30 minutes. And that's doing 3 lights. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to like and subscribe. I'll check you next time.